It's my special honor to now welcome a special appearance, our Prime Minister from Barbados, a very strong voice. Dr. Tedros, please allow her to come in. Her Excellency Mia Mottley, the Prime Minister of Barbados. Please, you have the stage.
Thank you very much. Good morning to each and every one of you. And let me thank both Dr. Tedros and my sister, Minister Reem Al-Hashimi, who both spoke at the opening and who have given us the good news that we are not only agreeing to change course at this COP to include climate and health as our focus, but that it is being anchored by the funding that is necessary to give it oxygen to get off the ground. The reality is that we have come thus far, not just talking about climate and health, but really seeing the consequences of it. The consequences of it for those who have had to endure wildfires, the consequences of it for those who have only known scarcity with respect to food and water, the consequences of it with respect to those who are now the victims of heat. When I was growing up, we used to talk about 96 degrees in the shade as if it was something very far and remote from us, as was made popular in the Third World song. The regrettable reality is that 96 degrees in the shade seems cool for so many today. I pray that this understanding and this agreement to have health at the center now formally, while it has been the reality of too many millions of people across the globe, will mean that we can also seek to get ahead of the curve with respect to the things that we know are likely to happen. We expect that there's a strong possibility of new pathogens that will develop. We expect that we need to be able to ensure that we're in a position to treat persons when and if these new pathogens become a reality across our globe. But what has been the reality for us? I chair the One Health Global Initiative along with Malta, and we focus on antimicrobial resistance, and we need to. It is already the third largest killer in the world, and it is expected to be the largest reason for people dying by 2050. It is expected that it will reverse a century of medical progress because going to the dentist or having a baby will now become a high-risk act if infections come into play. In the year 2000, the world had 20 firms doing research on antimicrobial resistance and looking for new antibiotics. Today, there are 4 firms. And if we study, the economics of antibiotics just doesn't work because we take antibiotics for what, 7 days, 10 days, 14 days? But drug companies will invest in those medicines where people take them for years. And that is regrettably not including antibiotics. I pray that we can therefore get to the realization that global public goods require investment in those things that are not economically viable on their own and financially sustainable on their own. And to that extent, therefore, the high-level session at the United Nations General Assembly next year on antimicrobial resistance will hopefully reposition this in our thoughts and also as an object of serious financing that is needed. We have learned recently what happens when we don't get ahead of the curve with the COVID-19 pandemic. The other aspect of it that I'd like us to focus on is the whole question of pharmaceutical equity. Whether we like it or not, there is serious inequity in the world with respect to access to pharmaceuticals. And the time perhaps has come for a South-South alliance that allows people to opt in and countries to opt in to ensure that we can create the markets in the global South and that we can have a just industrial strategy that will allow for access. Had it not been for the vaccine apartheid, we probably would not have paid sufficient attention to this inequity. And it isn't only in relation to vaccines, but let us deal with cancer, let us deal with other debilitating diseases. Simply put, a lot of the biologics are not available in the global south, and even if they're available, the prices are way out of control and therefore not in immediate access for most of our citizens. I pray that therefore this renewed effort to focus on health and to focus on climate will also focus on the consequential areas that are needed if we are to deliver relief to our people in a just and meaningful way. And I look forward, therefore, Dr. Tedros, to you working with the countries of the world to ensure that these things that have been forgotten in the way, as we go along will now become the major focus for us. This world will not survive easily if we continue to decimate populations simply by reason of lack of access through either poverty of nations or poverty of families and individuals. And I look forward, therefore, to lending our voices on this critical area as we focus on so many other things, but without health, we have nothing. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency. I know that you are a Prime Minister, but maybe you should be a Minister of Health as well, because the last sentence was great. No health, no survival. We still have a fantastic program in front of us.